Salaam Khawateen और हज़रात, वेलकम बैक टू अनदर एपिसोड ऑफ थॉट बिहाइंड थिंग्स। आज के एपिसोड अगेन वन ऑफ द फ्यू जो कि अंग्रेजी में होगी, इंग्लिश में होगी, बिकॉज माई गेस्ट इज़ नॉट फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान, ही इज़ एक्चुअली फ्रॉम बांग्लादेश, जो हमारे लॉन्ग लॉस्ट ब्रदर्स, एंड ही इज़ अ स्टूडेंट एट यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ ढाका, विच इज़ द highest ranking university in Bangladesh right now. He's studying psychology there, I believe, and ही रिसेंटली पार्टिसिपेटेड इन द प्रोटेस्ट जो हर पाकिस्तानी ने सुना है रिसेंटली कि बांग्लादेश में हुई, उसके अंदर एंटी गवर्नमेंट प्रोटेस्ट थी एंड देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ वायलेंस एज वेल, बट दैट लेड seemingly to a revolution. I want to understand what happened in Bangladesh. I want to understand why the protests happened in the first place. What was the revolution like, and what are the current on-ground situation? जिसके लिए हमने दावत दी है Mamunur Rashid. Sir, thank you so much for being part of the show and for giving us your time.
Thank you very much for having me here as well, and my gratitude and my warmth welcome to the Pakistani people who are watching right now.
Mamoon, I want to understand first of all. Let's just start off with you're 22 years old. What's your understanding of the history ever since Bangladesh got independent? What happened there? What do you guys read? What are your feelings today as a young person who didn't live through those times, but have probably read it in history and from people around you?
All right. So if I start with a booming sentence, uh, if I have to explain is one sentence, basically towards our generation in Bangladesh, Pakistan is a villain country in a sentence. Why? The reason is basically from our very early childhood, we have to read the liberation war history in our book, in our curriculum, and everything. So, in that history, the description was like West Pakistan was the ruler, they dominated to us, and definitely they always trying to dominate on us, and they were not caring about our rights and everything. So, from the 1947 to 1971, this timeline is absolutely whatever we read in our what else we can say in our curriculum. We have to read our liberation war history in a vast way, from the very beginning in the school to the university higher rank curriculum. We have to read the liberation war history must. This is our curriculum. So in the each and everywhere in the history, Pakistan is a villain country to us. And during that time, from 1947 to 1971, Pakistan was a villain country, and Pakistan did genocide. Pakistan did everything, whatever bad. So we have a very bad impression regarding Pakistan in our generation.
Interesting.
That's all about the Pakistani perception.
YouTube एनालिटिक्स के हिसाब से हमारी वीडियो के व्यूअर्स में से 60% ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया हुआ। अब मेरी आपसे एक छोटी सी रिक्वेस्ट है कि बराह करम अगर आप हमारी वीडियोस देखते हैं और आपको उसमें मज़ा आता है या आपको कोई वैल्यू मिलती है तो प्लीज़ चैनल को सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर कर दें और वीडियो को लाइक ज़रूर कर दिया करें। आपके एक छोटे से सब्सक्राइब से फ़ायदा ये होता है कि जब मेरे चैनल के ओवरऑल सब्सक्राइबर्स ज़्यादा होंगे तो मैं बेहतर से बेहतर गेस्ट लेकर आ सकता हूँ, क्योंकि जब मैं उनको रीच आउट करता हूँ तो वो हमेशा पूछते हैं कि यार तुम्हारे सब्सक्राइबर कितने हैं। तो मेरे जितने ज़्यादा सब्सक्राइबर होंगे उतने ही बेहतर गेस्ट्स आ सकेंगे। आने वाले दिनों में मैं आपके लिए बहुत एक्साइटिंग कॉन्वर्सेशंस लाने वाला हूं, जिसमें एक टर्किश इस्लामिक फाइनेंस के एक्सपर्ट हैं, एक पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट हैं इजराइल में जो कि एंटी जियोनिस्ट हैं, और इसी तरह सीरिया में एक ऐसे साहब हैं जो कि इस वक्त ऑन ग्राउंड हैं और वो आके बताएंगे कि एग्जैक्टली सीरिया में ऑन ग्राउंड सिचुएशन क्या है। अभी जो तमाम इंटरनेशनल गेस्ट्स हैं और ये जो इंटरनेशनल इनसाइट लेकर आ रहे हैं, इस तरह के लोगों को रीच आउट करने के लिए सब्सक्राइबर काउंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। इस वजह से मैंने कभी भी आप लोगों से नहीं बोला, लेकिन अगर आप ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं या कोई भी हमारी वीडियो देखते हैं तो बराह करम सब्सक्राइब जरूर कर लें, और अगर वीडियो पसंद आए तो जाते जाते एक लाइक जरूर कर दीजिएगा। Nonetheless, let's get back to the podcast. And my understanding is in 1971, when the partition actually happened, there would be a lot of Pakistanis who ended up in Bangladesh, or did they all migrate back? Because are there any Urdu speaking people or people who were originally Urdu speaking in Bangladesh today?
Yes, there are some originally Urdu speaking people. We call them Bihari. But most of them are from the Bihar state of India. They are not really original Pakistani, but some of them are Pakistani, and they call we call them Bihari. And in our Dhaka city, there are some particular area where Biharis are living, and those it's an interesting point. Those specific location are not safe for general people. Why? Because they are very brutal.
Really?
And like
So there
they're
is a communal
yes,
tension between
like they're
these.
very
Yeah,
definitely, they're very brutal, they are doing crime, they're hijacking, so they're not good people.
interesting.
So those area are red mark in our Dhaka city. We call
Interesting.
Bihari camp those cities, those specific areas of the country.
Interesting, interesting. And so, ever since 1971, you guys got independent. What has happened? What's the history of Bangladesh been like? It's very interesting because in Pakistan we don't really read about it. It's a country that was connected to us, but we don't really know much about the evolution, the history, what went wrong there. Because there's a lot that went wrong there. I understand you guys had your own military coups as well. The economy has been up and down, but recently we've been hearing the economy was booming. And it was a common phrase in Pakistan that, even Bangladesh is so much better than us, because we thought that Bangladesh was underdeveloped and it was not doing really well. And then while we were talking about the booming economy of Bangladesh, suddenly we saw the revolution. So we're very confused because we haven't read much about it. We don't know much about it. I want to understand firsthand, what's the history like since 1971 till 2024?
Okay, so after 1971, Bangladesh became the independent country. Bangladesh became Bangladesh instead of East Pakistan. So, our country was very devastated. After 9 months of liberation war, we were nothing actually. We were just a groundless bucket on that time. So, since that time, till 2024, it's been almost more than 50 years, so there were so much ups and political down. But in a one word, Bangladesh was actually never politically stable after 1971. Politically stable, but every government, in their every timeline, they have tried their level best to do something developed their country. If I have to talk about Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, after 1971
Hmm.
till 1975, he tried his level best to develop this country from his perspective. Then after that, military coup happened. Ziaur Rahman was a president. He came and he was the revolutionary leader, I must say, because every people right now in our Bangladesh, even there are controversy regarding Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who was the hero in 1971, but there are actually very less, almost no controversy regarding Sheikh President Ziaur Rahman,
Interesting.
because like since he was a military leader, I mean he was a president, but he invented multi-party democratic state in Bangladesh.
Right. Because originally it was just the Awami League and they were like a single party state in Bangladesh.
Exactly. During 1974, after the liberation war, 1971, after the independence, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman just tried to create a one state party in Bangladesh. Like she before 1971, he was the hero, he was our everything. But after 1971, he just changed. I'm not sure whether he was changed or not, but he created to try a one state party in our country.
Right.
And the result is 1975, he murdered with his family very brutally by the army. Because revolution happened when people are exhausted and everything is not out of control and something like that. So if you
Right.
go through the history, you will see the villain part of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
And so
So
did people support Ziaur Rahman at the time when the coup happened? So the
definitely,
mass majority of the people supported the army at the time.
definitely, because Ziaur Rahman created some extraordinary revolution in Bangladesh. He created the pumping system in our agriculture. He digged so many canals so that our root people will get the rice to eat. So the economic devastation has been removed on that time. So he is the hero
How
towards
long
that
was he
people.
there in
The people
in the government?
if I'm not wrong, till 1982 or 1983.
Okay, so 6 7
If I'm
years.
not,
And so why did he
yes.
leave? Because normally when authoritarian
Unfortunately,
military leaders come in,
unfortunately,
yeah.
unfortunately, he got killed as well. By nation. I must have to say that I'm a Bangladeshi. It doesn't mean I will always defend myself. I must have to say our people are not that much peace loving. Whenever they're seeing someone is someone is trying to do something good, someone is trying to do some development, they always need the exercise of power. Unfortunately, they don't need to develop the country. They always, some people, not everyone, I'm not talking about the mango people, definitely, they always need the exercise of power. So
Right.
that's the point
So this
basically.
was this a
So there
coup
is
from within the army, or was this an alternate party that decided to murder him? Like, was this a
that
revolution?
was that was a coup within the army. That was a coup within the
I
army.
see.
And every leader did mistakes. Ziaur Rahman did some as well.
Right. And
So
so who came
if I
after
have to
that?
go through after that, Ershad came. He was the general. of army, and some people always proclaim Ershad actually killed Hussein Muhammad Ershad. By the way, Hussein Muhammad Ershad killed Ziaur Rahman. It's not clarified yet. Ziaur Rahman's political party, Bangladesh National Party (BNP), they actually didn't take any bold steps or something clarified like that till now. So General Ershad was the first ever official military dictator in Bangladesh after Ziaur Rahman. First ever official military dictator in the
So
Bangladesh.
why wasn't Ziaur Rahman the official military dictator?
Ziaur Rahman, when he came to the power, he was not as a military dictator, or he created his own political party BNP, and
Right.
he opened everything, like he opened every scopes for the every political party
Right. Right.
to
And
do
so then
politics
then
in
he
Bangladesh,
held elections and then he got himself elected in those.
something like that. And
Right.
And fortunately, Ziaur Rahman, we still call he's the inventor or creator of the multi-party democracy in Bangladesh.
Right. So my understanding is this is the gentleman who was the father of Khalida Zia, who was
Uh,
imprisoned and recently
he's the husband of Khaleda Zia.
is the husband of Khalida Zia. Fascinating.
Exactly, he's the husband of Khaleda Zia. I might be
Interesting.
wrong. Maybe I'm sorry because the year Ziaur Rahman died, it might be wrong. It's 82 or 83. I'll
Mhm.
request to the audience to
Verify
do the
that.
Google. Yeah, yeah.
But it's
So
the same
after
family, essentially.
same family, Ziaur Rahman, Tariq
Right.
Zia is his son,
Right.
and Begum Khaleda Zia, who was the three times Prime Minister of Bangladesh, she was the wife.
Right. And so how long did the military coups last after Ziaur Rahman?
Till 1994.
And then democracy came back?
Yes, let me finish the
Yeah.
story. So when General Ershad came to the power, so since he is the official military dictator in the country, so probably he long lasted for 2 to 3 years or more than that. And then after that, since he was a military dictator, all the democratic, all the political party in Bangladesh, including Awami League, including BNP, Jamaat Islami, and every sector
Hmm.
of the country did the revolution to remove him from the power.
Right.
But interesting part is General Ershad was a true gentleman. He didn't believe in so much war, firing to the people, killing his own country people that much. You know, only 6 people died during Ershad remove movement, and we call it 90s revolution. 90s, that was the 90s decade, 90s revolution. Then
Right.
after that, Awami League, BNP, there was a fair election after 90s remove of General Ershad, and after that, election is a continuous process in Bangladesh. Then sometimes BNP came 3 times, Awami League came 1 time. Then after 2008, after the 111, the Bangladeshi people can engage 111. So after the 111, Awami League come to the power, and since 2008 to till 2024, we, the GenZ, we, the generation, just seeing Awami League as a power political party. That's
Interesting.
the history of
So
Bangladesh.
between 94, 95 till 2008 was a ping pong between Khalida Zia and Hasina Wajid.
Yes,
Is that
exactly.
correct?
Ping pong. Yes, Khaleda Zia and Sheikh Hasina, there was a ping pong. You were
And
right.
and Sheikh Hasina is from the family of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, she is the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Interesting.
Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the father of Sheikh Hasina.
Right. And so at any given time, Jamaat Islami was never able to come to power during all of this time.
No, Jamaat Islami was never able to come to power, but they created legacy with BNP.
Okay, interesting. Um, between 2008 till now, what we've heard, what we've read from outside is that this was a very fairly brutal regime in terms of making sure that there are no opponents that are going to stand in the way. A lot of people from Jamaat-e-Islami got persecuted. There were a lot of them. I'm not sure if this is true, but they were hanged as well. What has the history over the last 15 years been in terms of politics and in terms of the ruling party consolidating its power
Hmm.
within the system?
Definitely. That's all I can say very specifically because since 2008, I can recall and remember everything, and I have watched everything in the
Right.
TV screen and everything, you know. So after 2008, when Sheikh Hasina came to the power, her first step was to remove all the opposition political party from the country. How he started? He did. The uh, Pilkhana murder. He killed. It was a uh, what else I can say? It was a pre-planned thing. He killed almost 57 army higher officer
How? Like,
through
was
a
this like a coup or was this legally done?
no, not it was not like a coup. It was known as like it's a clash inside the army.
Okay.
So it was that their inside coup they created from the outside.
Okay.
Why she created that? Because she knows these 57 army military officer, if in the force, she will she will not be able to be a dictator in future. That's
Right.
why her first intention to kill the army. There was another grudge because the army killed her father in 1975,
Right. 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 Right.
and there was ego like I have to kill the army again right now.
Right.
So he was the mastermind during that time. So that was her first step. Then Sheikh Hasina did like Jamaat Islami in the history. In 1971, Jamaat Islami was with Pakistan. Like
Right.
they helped Pakistan, they supported Pakistan. They were never in the front, like they never supported we will be an independent country.
Right.
They supported Pakistan. So Jamaat Islami completely right now they are the criminal tri- and Sheikh Hasina created an international criminal crime tribunal and the persecuted all the Jamaat Islami leader. Why she did that? Because she knew Jamaat Islami is the only strongest party in the country who can do a revolution.
Right. So you
That's why
she used the historical narrative, the nationalistic narrative, to ensure that she could purge all
exactly
of those people.
exactly she destroyed the Jamaat. And you can't believe in one night after every month in one night she just hanged Jamaat leader officially. And she created some new narratives like in our country some narrative funded like Gono Jagoron Moncho it's called. Like they just funded something some finances towards the people, and they just created a revelation. We have to hang up the Jamaat leader, we have to hang up the Jamaat leader, all the Jamaat leaders are criminal, all the Jamaat leaders are criminal. And most importantly there were some mistakes from the Jamaat as well. They didn't catch up the norms of the generation. They had to clarify their role as well. But
Right.
I'm not sure whether it's their ego or not, but they were failed to prove their narrative as well.
Right.
Although I would say Awami League was just created the situation like that. Jamaat had no option actually to see
Right.
the scenario because Sheikh Hasina, I must say her the slave of Delhi. So,
Interesting.
so,
We'll come to India in a bit. But I'm
yeah.
curious. In the early days, when this purge had started, first in the army, then in Jamaat Islami, did the
Mhm.
population understand what was going on? Was there a widespread support for Sheikh Hasina, which is what allowed her to do all of this, or did the population just simply not care?
Actually, the thing is, there were no freedom of speech during that time, and our generation, were manipulated.
Right.
Oh, we were thinking, okay, Jamaat Islam, they were the friend of Pakistan in 1971. They're our enemy. We have to
Right.
kill them. They created the narration like that.
Right, 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 right. So the
Jamaat Islam.
population actually supported, or either just supported them, or just disconnected them from the,
Yes,
this is
yes,
government stuff.
yes.
It's happening.
There were fear. If I have to, if I now raise my voice for Jamaat, maybe I'll be in jail on the next day. That was the problem. And you don't even know there were thousands of fake political case for the Jamaat leaders, Jamaat workers. They did nothing actually. They were just doing their regular political party meeting. Police just came, arrested them, and they said, "Oh my God, they're the national terrorist. They are doing plan for terrorist attack on the next day in our country."
Hmm.
All those were political fake cases, and thousands of cases like that in our country against the Jamaat. And this is how Awami League tried to destroy Jamaat, and Jamaat actually never destroyed. They're in the hole during that full time. They just
They just
tolerated.
went into a periphery, like a, like a
Yes,
background status, essentially.
exactly. So now come to the discussion how Hasina created her regime. The first election after 2008, it was in 2014, then 2018, then 2024. Those three
So what's
elections.
the? Sorry, she came in
No, no, no.
2008. Then it was 6 years to 2014. Then it was
Mhm.
4 years till 2018, and then another 6 years to 2024. So why is the timeline different here?
Like in our country constitutionally it takes 5 years between every election.
Okay,
After 5 years we do a national election, like it's just like around 5 years. So in
I
our
see.
country there was a there was a rules before, like whenever we have to end of any government ending time, there will be a caretaker government. They will arrange a fair election, then every party will participate in the election, then the election will be happening. Sheikh Hasina declined this law by parliament. Why?
I see.
Because if caretaker government came through, there will be a fair election, and if fair election happen, Awami League will never win again. So she just created what else I can say? She just created a domestic election commission which will work for her, and all the election was just a puppet show. There were no voting. Actually, there was nothing. Every election almost bears 700 crore budget. Everything was just a puppet show. Nothing else.
Right.
People people are never able to, even I am a voter officially in my country. I'm a voter. I till now I have never ever able to give my vote.
Why? I mean, even if you tried to vote, you couldn't do it.
I will try my vote. Oh, your vote is complete. Please go to home. I have to hear that. There are
Okay.
lots of videos in social media, YouTube, and everywhere. Your vote is complete. And if I like, I will go to the vote center and I seal on BNP, say for example, that will not be counted.
Hmm. Interesting. And
Only
so,
Awami.
yeah, so at what point, actually, so we'll come to the revolution part later. Just
Yes.
in your own experience over the last, let's say, 10 years, since you were 12 coming to 22, how has Bangladesh evolved? There's politics. We've spoken about the politics, but what has the economy been like? What has the understanding of your country been like over the last 10 years? Because this is a very interesting age, right? This is where you're beginning to understand what's going on. Most young people, most kids, when they're growing up, they love their country, they love their environment, they love their family and culture and so on. And then, later in your teens, early 20s, you get the rebellious attitude, and you basically begin to explore and learn. And we live in a world of the internet, so now it's not that difficult. It's not that easy to control narratives as it used to be maybe a few generations ago. So how has that evolution happened for someone like yourself?
Okay. First of all, we have learned one thing. Apart from Awami League, the other political party, BNP, Jamaat, they all are terrorists. We have to learn it. So the message pushed among us, they all are terrorists. They all are doing all the terrorist attack plan every day to destroy your country. They all are terrorists, first of all. Secondly, Awami League took some mega project eyewash plan. How is that? Because our country, I must say this is the mistakes of the other parties as well, because we just invented our metro rail in Dhaka city around last 2022 or 2022. But if the another political party, BNP, who were in the power 3 times, if they created or invented metro rail in Dhaka city on that time, Awami League had not the chance to, like, oh, see, I have metro rail for you. Not like that. So Awami League took some mega project to the young generation, like 4G, 5G internet, which is available in our country, smartphone, which was more expensive in our country. They just provided those smartphone in a cheaper price, and metro rail, uh, Padma Breeze, So this kind of some specific IWASH, like biggest development project, IWASH project. And we're saying, oh my God, our country is changing and Awami League is doing all those things. We need Awami League always. And Sheikh Hasina, to be honest, Sheikh Hasina had a popularity among young generation who are non-political, like who are non-political, who has no connection with politics. They, oh my God, she's the smartest leader. Oh my God, she has a very good international impression, which was actually we trust me. It sounds very awkward, but we loved her a lot. To be honest, we
Right.
loved her a lot.
So what happened? What changed?
Yes, I'm coming to the point. So we loved her a lot. Even 6 months ago, in this year 2024, not 6 months actually, 11 months ago, 7th January, there were an election, and it was the latest election Sheikh Hasina did unfairly.
Right.
We know this is unfair,
Right.
but we are silent because we, okay, fine, for Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina is fine. We need Sheikh Hasina. if Sheikh Hasina is there, there will be so many development. So we need Sheikh Hasina. No one is able to uh, continue the country. Tariq Zia, he's a terrorist. Jamaat Islami, oh my God, they are religiously blind. They are terrorists. So only we do have Sheikh Hasina. And a
Mhm.
dictator, when there is like we have to, who is the alternative? Sheikh Hasina, no? So who is the alternative? This situation created Sheikh Hasina, and as a fascist, I think she was successful there. No alternative. So this is how it worked actually. And I will come to the discussion about the revolution, July revolution. Then you will understand why what happened actually. Everything is changed one night.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I also want to understand, you guys did not have an alternate in terms of politics, and because this is one thing that we discuss in Pakistan quite a lot as well. You know, when we, a lot of people, when they're in their drawing rooms and in their sort of coffee discussions or at tea stalls, they're discussing how, you know, the government is so bad, the politicians are corrupt, everything is really horrible. And then the people also then have a very self-defeatist attitude that, oh, you know, the people in Pakistan are all lazy and they don't want to go out and they don't want to protest. And when, you know, when what happened in Bangladesh, ever since we keep on talking about, you know, look at these people in Bangladesh, look at how they came out without any popular leaders, without any political support. It was student led. It was the ordinary individuals who came out for their rights, right? But then one of the things that I always think about is this did not happen overnight. I mean, this was it was a long time coming. You guys stayed there for 16 years. So there's something that kept on building up, and that it sort of imploded at the end. So what happened in July? Like, if I were to ask you the day the first protest started, let's say a month ago, did any of you imagine that maybe you were going towards this direction, or did you have like a pent up anger and frustration, or was it just like a spark that just sort of changed everything?
It was just a gradual frustration. And at the very first step, our demand was never to remove Sheikh Hasina. Our demand was to reform the quota system in government job. I will explain the quota system definitely. What is quota system? And from your quotation, I say one thing must, like in Pakistan, everyone is lazy. In our country, this is almost same.
Right.
The revolution started, the GenZ, we are a proud GenZ. We started that because we understood when we see my friend is dying and who is firing him? The police. The police is firing him with that gun which had bought by my tax money, and my friend is dying by that gun. So no, this is high time we have to speak.
मेरे चैनल की प्राइमरी कामयाबी की वजह मेरे व्यूअर्स हैं, यानी कि आप लोग, और उसकी वजह यह है कि आप तमाम लोग, जो कम्युनिटी हमने यहाँ पे बनाई है, जो पिछले 4 साल से स्टार्टअप्स के बारे में, इकोनॉमी के बारे में, जियो पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में कॉन्वर्जेशन को सुन भी रही है और अप्रिशिएट भी कर रही है, उसमें से बहुत सारे लोग मुझे रीच आउट करते हैं मेंटरशिप के लिए, डिस्कशंस के लिए, जियो पॉलिटिक्स, इकोनॉमी, स्टार्टअप्स के बारे में। और या तो मैं बहुत दफ़ा अवेलेबल नहीं होता, या जब मैं होता भी था तो मैंने बड़ा एक एक्सपेंसिव किस्म का वन ऑन वन सेशन पहले रखा हुआ था, जो कि अभी भी एग्जिस्ट करता है, लेकिन अब मैंने आप लोगों के लिए एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोडक्ट बना लिया है जिससे हम रेगुलरली इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं। मैंने रिसेंटली अपनी एक्सक्लूसिव लाइव कम्युनिटी लॉन्च की है, जिसमें वीकली में 3 घंटे के लिए लाइव आता हूँ। तमाम कम्युनिटी मेंबर्स से हम डिस्कशंस करते हैं, उनके सवालों के जवाब देते हैं, आपस में एक दूसरे के एक्सपीरियंसेस से सीखते हैं, और साथ ही उसमें एक वाइड रेंज ऑफ पर्क्स अवेलेबल है जो कि मैंने अपनी वेबसाइट में डिटेल में लिस्ट किए हैं। तो अगर आप इंटरेस्टेड है मेरा इनर सर्कल ज्वाइन करने में, जहां पे मैं अपनी सबसे रियल और ऑनेस्ट थॉट्स भी शेयर करता हूं, मेंटरशिप भी देता हूं, तमाम हालात और आने वाली दुनिया के बारे में डिस्कशंस भी हम करते हैं, तो नीचे दी गई हुई लिंक से आप मेरी कम्युनिटी ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं। पहले 50 मेंबर्स के लिए लाइफ टाइम एक्सक्लूसिव 40% ऑफ है, तो अपना डिस्काउंट हासिल करने के लिए आप TBT40 का कोड यूज कर सकते हैं। एंड होपफुली आई टॉक टू यू इन माय नेक्स्ट लाइव सेशन। नॉनदलेस, आइए वापस चलते हैं पॉडकास्ट पे। Interesting. And you did not fear. I mean, so again, most people, when they would see one person getting shot, they'd be like, okay, man, I mean, I can't afford to do this, right? Because
Exactly.
we're not very, both Bangladesh and Pakistan, we're not rich people. And so a lot of our
Yeah.
families are dependent on young boys who are going to work and who are going to sustain the families. And so a lot of people have this idea, what if I die as well? People are inherently very selfish. People who are in underdeveloped areas, you can't blame
Right.
them, but they're selfish because they have mouths to feed. So
Certainly.
because older generations didn't do anything, they kept on going with the flow. Okay, if the world is bad, we'll complain about
Mm.
it at a tea stall, but we're not going to do anything. Why did the Gen Z find it in them to actually, fight back? And I understand during the revolution there was a lot of firing and a lot of people died as well. So how were they able to continue in the middle of all of this escalation and this sort of brutality that you guys were facing?
The emotion blasted inside the Zenzi mind. I will explain that. Okay, now I should I come to the July Revolution
Yes,
storyline?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so first of all, I have to explain what is quota system. So in our country, there is a peculiar system in government job. Like if you are a freedom fighter, certified freedom fighter, your son, your grandson, your grandson's grandson will get an extra privilege in government job. And believe it or not, the quota is 56% in the government job. Among 56%, 30% for freedom fighter, and remaining 26% for like women, underprivileged people, and that's kind of people. Anyways, so in 2018, back in 2018, the quota reform, I repeat, it was we never demanded for to remove quota. We said reform the quota, decrease the percentage, because the people who have no privilege, whose father or grandfather is not a freedom fighter, they have the brain to conduct the country. We need equal level playing field. We don't want the quota in a vast portion. We just need to decrease the quota percentage. In 2018, there was a quota movement.
Right.
Sheikh Hasina agreed during that time with the quota protesters in 2018. So there was a she cancelled the quota law, the quota system, and everything by court. What happened in 2024? Suddenly, it was around 5th June, some son or grandson of some freedom fighters, they did a writ in high court, like we need to get back the quota system, and high court approved that, unfortunately.
Right.
And you know, in 16 years regime, Sheikh Hasina did control the high court as well. It was controlled, everything was controlled. She just created, okay fine, it was 2018, maybe they forgot, there's back the quota system again. But we just shocked, why quota again? Then some sort of people, they are job seekers. First step, we were not in the protest because we are running student schools kid are, why they will go to the quota movement? Why? They don't need the job right now.
Hmm.
So the frontliner movement was the job seekers class, like they are just have completed their graduation, now they need government job, they need to reform the quota. And 5th June, it was, yes, it was 5th June. So first, there was a square in our country, in Dhaka city, it's called Shahbag Square. Every demand, protest, and every revolution started from there. They went there, they did protest, they blocked the road, everything they did. And gradually, Sheikh Hasina didn't care.
It was a small
She
protest at the start.
Yes, very small. I must say 10 to 12 people gathered in front of the Central Library of Dhaka University, and they go to the Shahbag Square and they started protest. So we need reform. We need to reform quota.
So very
And
small, very ordinary. Like a bunch of people got together and
very
they're like,
ordinary.
okay, let's fight for our
Yes,
rights.
but very fortunately, there is an unbelievable unity among the student community in Bangladesh. I'm not sure, do you know about the Safe Road movement in 2018 as well? Three school student, killed by a very desperate running bus on the street. And you know, after later than 7 days, we all the students blocked all the road in our country, and we were the traffic police for during that 7 days. We
Interesting.
created the example, look, this is how traffic system should be controlled, this is how you have to maintain the traffic rule, and then no accident will be happening in Dhaka city and everywhere in the country.
Interesting.
That was an goosebumping. I was in college in that time. I
Right.
was the active protester on that time as
Just
well.
to understand, do you guys have student unions and student bodies within your student communities? Because in Pakistan in the 1980s, we banned student unions and student political organizations, and so because of that is often cited as a reason why students are unable to mobilize in Pakistan and they're unable to perform political activity. So more often than not, the political activity is performed by people who are much older, or generally they take people from the peripheries and the rural areas. The urban areas, students find it difficult to consolidate themselves together for a demand because there is no formal structure. So, do you guys have formal structures in terms of organizations in Bangladesh, student related?
Yes. Yes, we do have formal structure, and in a serious sense formal structure, because all the political party, they do have student branch, and they use those student branch to control the field. They are not actually that much important to us. All the unity we do have among in our general student who are absolutely apolitical, we don't have any connection with any political party.
Right.
Awami League had its own student union, which Bangladesh Student League, Awami League, Bangladesh Student League.
Right.
BNP has its own student branch, Bangladesh Student Dol. Dol means team. Bangladesh Chhatro Dol in Bangla. Jamaat has its own student branch, Islami Chhatro Shibir.
Right.
Okay, so they are all the affiliated student union officially formed with the political party. But whenever we do any protest, Chhatralik came to kill us because they need to control the field. Because why? Because they're the hand of the Awami League.
Right. Right. Right.
To
Right.
be honest, Chhatro Dol, I mean from the BNP, when BNP was in the power, Chhatro Dol did the same.
Interesting. So basically, a lot of these organizations were not supportive of these protests, but rather were working against them. It was just completely ordinary students, apolitical, not part of organizations that sort of got
Exactly.
together.
Exactly. And also in the July movement, most of the students came through. Most of them are apolitical. Yes, there were a political student as well, but they didn't reveal their identity because that student protest was only by the general student for
Right.
the Gen Z.
Right.
Because whenever some political student will enter into the revolve, Awami League will say, look, BNP is doing
This is
another
terrorists who
terrorist
are driving. Yeah. Yeah.
terrorists through there. That's the problem. That's why
Right.
they all hidden their identity. We all are general student, no identity, no banner.
Interesting. And would you say it was social media that allowed for you guys to be able to consolidate so quickly and rapidly and be organized?
Certainly. Social media is I must say, in Bangladesh, Facebook is the biggest platform. Everyone is using Facebook. Everyone is active in Facebook.
Hmm.
And Facebook, social media is the trump card, I must say. Every emotions, when we see the video, our brother dying, our I don't know even whoever martyred in the July movement. I don't know even them, all of them personally. But when I see he has died, she has died, my tears knew no bound actually. So the emotion created in that way. Oh my God, my friend had died. Oh my God, this boy is dying, and he did nothing actually. So
Hmm.
that emotion came through the internet. That's why Hasina just shut down the internet so that she could control the movement.
So tell me about 5th June. You mentioned they started 10, 15 people. How did this sort of grow, and how did it take a turn towards the worst in terms of violence and so on?
Okay, all right. So first of all, just they did nothing. They were just protesting by themselves. Even they blocked the road, but I must say, they didn't even burn any matchbox as well. No violence actually. That was a peaceful movement. They were just sitting in the square and with banner placard, we need to reform the quota system. We need to reform the quota system. They submitted the demand paper to our president as well. But actually, government was nothing care about it. They said, okay, fine, it's ongoing. Maybe after 7 to 10 days, they all will go back to their home. Let it go. That was like that. But in the very depth, the student community was growing. Everyone was joining day by day. Okay, we need to sort it. We need to sort it. We need to go to the quota reform movement. Then what happened? If I'm not wrong, around July 12th or 11th, there was a press briefing in the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's residence, Gono Bhavan. And every press briefing on Hasina was another puppet show, I must say. So there were some selective journalists. They did some selective questions. Sheikh Hasina replied some savage answers, and oh my God, she is the hero.
Right.
I never miss those press briefing live telecasts because I watch them for entertainment. To be
Right.
honest.
And so
So,
people
anyways,
knew that it's all the media is controlled, and anything that comes from the
hmm,
media is right.
certainly all controlled, and everyone knew.
Right.
So there were some selective journalists, every familiar face we know, which journalist will ask which question, we know everything. And Sheikh Hasina created some savage, and she said, "Look, I am an open leader. I'm just answering everything in front of every journalist. See how fair I am." But everything was scripted. So, anyways, there was a question from the journalist. Quota protesters are doing protests for quota. So what's your opinion about that? So Sheikh Hasina just did, oh my God, freedom fighters' son, freedom fighters' grandson will get the higher job. Definitely they deserve. But the son of Rajakar, Rajakar means who was not freedom fighter, according to her, who was not freedom fighter, everyone is Rajakar. Rajakar means the assistance of Pakistan, who supported Pakistan during
Right.
1971. Then,
Right.
then only freedom fighter's son will get the job. Otherwise, everyone is Rajakar. They don't deserve any government job. And another dummy journalist was in the uh, press briefing. I must thank him. He started the sparkle actually. His question was, "Oh my God, okay, the freedom fighter quota, freedom fighter's son will not get the government job. Only Rajakars will get the job." Sheikh Hasina replied, "Yes. Apart from the freedom fighters, all are Rajakars." She actually unintentionally meant that.
Right. And so
But
that
on
annoyed the people basically.
that annoyed the people, that annoyed the not people, actually university student.
Right.
In that night in Dhaka University, that midnight, I can still, my goosebumping happening when I'm explaining the story. In my campus in Dhaka University, there were some almost 12 plus dorms, student dorm, we call them hall. So all the ladies, all the boys just came out from the hall, and they just started the protest. Who am I? Who are you? Rajakar, Rajakar. In Bengali, Tumi ke, Ami ke, Rajakar, Rajakar. Like
Right.
we all are Rajakar.
Right. So you started
And
to embrace the slur essentially.
exactly, I'm happy to be a Rajakar. That was my irony protest.
Right.
Irony, what irony buzzword. I am a Rajakar. I'm a proud Rajakar. I'm a
Hmm.
Rajakar. Interestingly, we are Gen Z, we know what is irony, we know what is actually we are saying. We are not actually proud to be a Rajakar, we are just mocking her. But the boomer class who are in the government, they said, "Oh, new generation, shame on you, you are pretending yourself Rajakar. Do you know what are you doing? You have to go Pakistan." Pakistan is a very relevant country. Whenever the Awami League can't agree with anyone, oh, he's the representative of Pakistan, go to Pakistan. If you search in the YouTube, Sheikh Hasina once, it's 2 to 3 years ago, in a press briefing, Sheikh Hasina mocked BNP. BNP is the representative of Pakistan. Sheikh Hasina just recited this shayari, "Ay meri jaan pyare daman, आंखों की तारा आसमान की चांद दिल में है Pakistan." This is BNP. Sheikh Hasina recited this. You can search in the YouTube.
Interesting. Interesting.
So, so when we proclaimed ourselves as Rajakar, we are Rajakar, we are proud Rajakar. They said, "Oh my God, this generation is the representative of Pakistan. This generation is spoiled."
Hmm. And so this
But
right.
yes, but we didn't stop our protest. And after the next morning, Sheikh Hasina in a press briefing said, "Oh, I am living in which country?" The women in from the Rokia Hall was the starting, was a historical place in 1971. Those women means female students are saying they're Rajakar. Oh my God, I'm living in which country? Like, this is how it started.
Hmm.
Now, what's next? There is a dummy, like maybe probably he's the general secretary of Awami League, Ubaidul Kader. He's a very funny and famous character in Bangladesh politics as well. He's our transport ministry as well. He just said the student proclaimed this Rajakar, they need to be punished because they all are the representative of Pakistan. They don't deserve this country. They need to be punished. How they need to be punished? Chhatro League, I mentioned before. Chhatro League, the student branch of Awami League, they will go and just
Thrash them.
punish them.
Interesting.
And actually, this happened whenever Obaidul Kader did this statement. Chhatro League thought, "Oh, now it's our duty to punish them." On the next day, peaceful movement, Chhatro League, I mean Bangladesh Student League, they came. We study in same university, same class. He's my brother. He is supporting Chhatra League. I'm not supporting Chhatra League, and he's just
Attacking.
punishing me,
Yeah, yeah.
attacking me with the stick, with the hockey stick. I'm bleed. Not actually me, my friends and everyone. They are not caring who is female, who is male. They're just attacking with hockey stick and everyone, everything.
Did you expect that the government would do this to you at that time?
Yes, It's yes, it's very expected. And in every protest, Chhatralik played this role. Chhatralik always like attacked to everyone. In 2018, the Safe Road movement as well.
Hmm.
Chhatralik played the same
So
role.
you expected that the government would be
Yes,
violent and they will
certainly,
be aggressive
certainly,
against you.
certainly. We were ready for that.
At what?
And
Yep. Sorry. Please complete.
no, no worries. And they thought when they will attacked by Chhatro League, I mean Bangladesh Student League, they will go back to home next day. Maybe they will cry and they will go back to home next day. But unfortunately, it was not happening. What happened? We were just pissed off, and the people, the students who were in the field, not everyone in the field, some of them are in their home as well, they decided, okay, boycott every Bangladesh Student League affiliated student from our batch, from our class, no matter who is my friend, who is my brother, just boycott them. Will not complete our continue our session with these bloody people. Like Chhatro League is a slang in our country. I mean, Bangladesh Student League is a slang in our country.
Right.
They compared with dog to the
Right.
general student.
Right.
Absolutely. So this is how it started. Then what happened? In every, I need to explain it very briefly actually. In every dorm in the Dhaka University, there are Chhatro League committee. I mean, Bangladesh Student League committee, official committee. In that night, every general student went back to the dorm. They attack on the Chhatralik. They just attack on the Chhatralik and just remove the Chhatralik from the Dhaka University. In the 100 years story of Dhaka University, first ever happened, Chhatralik removed from Dhaka University. They just went away with their everything just to save their life. And when they, like, some of my Chhatralik friends asked me to get asylum in my home, I know you just attacked my innocent brother yesterday. Why I will give you the asylum in my home?
And at this
Nobody.
point in time, nobody had been killed, but it was just violence that was happening, right?
Yes, violence. It has happened. Nobody has been killed. Nobody. We killed no one.
Right.
Just violence has happened. So you know, Bangladesh in Chittagong. Chittagong University is another biggest university in our country. In Chittagong, is happened from a sixth floor building. General student just dropping a Chhatralik worker. They are that much aggressive and they are that much pissed off.
Hmm.
And Sheikh Hasina just got mad. Oh my god, my Chhatro League, who is my tram card, Chhatro League is my root. They are just vanished by the general student. Sheikh Hasina was mad on that time.
Right.
And he deployed police, he deployed BGB, I mean border guard Bangladesh. Border guard meant to be keep security in the border.
Hmm.
They are in the Dhaka to s- just to create it, because army deployment is not fair every time. So he every time he deployed BGB whenever Sheikh Hasina like got stuck. BGB is her left hand, I must say.
Right.
Police is right hand, BGB is left hand always.
So just to understand, you guys have the army, which is which stands on the border, and then you have the BZP, which are like what are they the same thing? Is the army the BZP?
No, 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 no. Bangladesh Army is completely different.
Okay.
Border Guard Bangladesh is only for safety for the
Okay,
border.
border guard.
Border,
Okay, so
border.
between has the army ever been deployed in Bangladesh, even when you guys were surrounding the, let's say, the presidential palace or any of that sort, or it was always just the
Mhm.
police and the border guards?
No, border guard Bangladesh is always meant to be in the border. When any emergency situation created, like a national election or something, this kind of protest, BGP just deployed for the extra security. And apart from that, army just do some protocol duty in presidential suits and everyone, but not everywhere. It's just regarding the protocol. Like Sheikh
Right,
Hasina, not always dependent on army, because she knew army is the dangerous
right,
point
right,
for
right,
her.
right, right,
Army
right,
killed her father, so
right.
army should kill her anytime.
Right. So make sure so the security apparatus, she always had her own sort of civilian apparatus that she would trust. Also another question, the judges and the army chief. My understanding is that she had her own handpicked army chief. She had her own handpicked judges because she's been there for 16 years. And so she had a very strong grip on the system. How long did these protests, from the day that you mentioned, where you essentially expelled the Awami Student League from universities, till the day that Sheikh Hasina government fell, how many days was there in between?
Mm, 21 or 22 days.
Okay, so it all
Since
happened really
16,
fast.
yes, since 16th August to 5th July.
I see. And so, what was happening? And every day you guys were going out, there was violence, protests. At what point did people started dying? In terms of, I'm trying to understand the escalation here of where it became, because obviously people get injured, but that can still be controlled. When people start dying, more often than not, that is a point of no return, because there has to be some sort of justice, at least in the hearts of people, after people die.
Okay, fine. Now let me continue the story. After 16th of July, when Bangladesh Student League attacked on us, I mean Dhaka University student, they attacked on us very badly actually. So all the Dhaka University dorm students left the dorm by the force of army and not army actually, BGB and police, basically police was very brutal. On 16th of August I was in the campus. I do have the video. I'm arguing with the police. I have the ID card. I am the student and police is not allowing me to enter the university campus. I do have my foods, biscuits and waters for my friend who are doing protest. I am see on the other side of the barricade, police is firing, police is throwing grenades, sound grenades. My friends are getting injured, but I'm here, I'm crying, I can't do anything. I'm asking police, let me go there. Police is saying me, why will you go there? You will be fired. I just replied to the police, who will fire me? And I said, and police said, look, this is the government notice. You can't enter your university today. I said, look, we are public university, we are Dhaka University. We are an autonomous educational institution. If government provide us any notice, we are not compelled to abide by this every time. I said what I said. I do have this video in my social as well. But police didn't allow me and they just shut down the university. They just created a lockdown situation inside the university and every student just went back their home from the dorm and everywhere. Anyways, after that, when in Bangladesh there are too many private universities as well, but there are no student politics in the private university. Private university students are always get involved in their study. They are not that much like active in every protest, or since there is no student politics, so there is no political event as well, so they are not that much aware of this. They are always busy with their extracurricular activities, their productive activities and their studies as well. But they see, oh my god, the public university students who are my friends, who are my brothers, they just attacked by this kind of brutally. We need to start the protest from our end as well. Then some top ranked private university, North South University, BRAC University, Independent University Bangladesh, AIUB, American International University, even another university, Bangladesh University Professionals, which is controlled by the army. All the students from those institutions just on the street, on the street for the protest. It was around, if I'm not wrong, 17th of July or 16th of July, and the people started to die on that day. From that day, Abu Said in Rangpur is a district in our country. He just in front of the police, just that, and police shooted him. He got died. Mugdho uh, is the student of Bangladesh University of Professionals. In morning, he was doing protest. Do you need? His dialogue was in Bangla. Pani lagbe pani. In English, do you need anyone? Anyone needs water? I have water. I have water. And after some times, she just died. He just died. He just murdered, killed by the stand gun of the police. And when we see this scenario, they're dying. Police is firing them. Police is firing on the student. I
Hmm.
repeat, on the uniformed student of Bangladesh. We just got mad. Oh my god, what's going on? What's
Hmm.
going on? And and after that we said, okay, now it's time, not time to do the quota movement. It's time to step down Hasina. We started the protest with hashtag in Facebook, step down Hasina. In the 16 years of Awami fascist regime, the first ever hashtag from the GenZ, step down Hasina. And in that evening, Sheikh Hasina shut it down the internet.
Right. So basically, that's where she realized the internet can no longer, like, this is getting out of
Exactly.
hand.
Yes, exactly. And during that 7 days, I mean, internet was shut down. Actually, we don't ever know. Still, we don't have the exact survey. How many people died? My home located situated in Mirpur, Dhaka, which is the center point of Dhaka city. Since my very early childhood, there were so many political instability, political movement in our country, but Mirpur was always normal. Because there were no violation and everything. But in front of my house, police is firing, helicopter is giving round, like it's a war situation in our country.
Right.
But we just demanded for a simple quota reformation. Sheikh Hasina made this massacre. You can't believe every day. We didn't feel that kind of suffocation during the corona pandemic. Every day we are suffocated. We know what's going on. I'm sorry, I'm being emotional. We knew what's going on. We knew what's going on, but we never knew where it will be ending. Every day we are feeling such of many people are dying. The electronic media is not showing the real news. The print media is not printing the real news. They are saying everything is normal, everything is normal, everything is normal. People are dying. Even we don't know who are dying, how dying, because internet is absolutely shut down. No option to connect anyone, no proof, nothing. Just we were frustrated. Like, we live in an independent country. Actually, this is an independent country. Is there any country in the world, I don't even know, is there any country in the world whose government is using the gun to kill the people of the country just to hold the power?
Mm.
Ria Gop, which is just a 6 year or 4 years or 5 years old child, she died inside her home by the shoot of the police.
So the police was going inside the home. So these basically they were
Not
looking.
actually. They were firing from the helicopter randomly. They were firing from the
Oh.
helicopter randomly. And every day, Aumi League did mock. Oh my God, we are not firing from the helicopter. We are just giving water from the helicopter so that the fire can be controlled. This is how. And internet, Junaid Ahmed Polok is another bastard from our. I'm sorry for my word. He created this narrative. Okay, some miscreants from BNP and the Jamaat, who are terrorists, they just burned our data center. That's why internet shut down.
Hmm.
That was his reason.
Right.
How clownery, how clown
Do you
we
really
are,
believe
how
anyone will believe it in today's day
never
and age,
ever,
right?
never ever, never ever. On the day 18th or 17th July,
Hmm.
when internet shut it down, our state television, Bangladesh television, state television channel office was totally burnt
Hmm.
by the protesters. So from the next day, BTV, Bangladesh television, came to the telecast. So our question was, oh my God, BTV was burned, or BTV can come to the transmission, but internet can't be restored. Oh my God, how funny.
And so,
So
while the internet was shut down, how did you guys? If I have two questions. First, were these protests completely consolidated in Dhaka only, or were they happening across the country at this point in time?
across the country, across the country,
And
across the country,
and the killings were happening across the country as well.
across the country as well.
And so, while this was happening, because obviously, I mean, you don't know what's happening in Chittagong, you don't know what's happening in another city altogether. The internet is shut down. Were phone calls still working? And how did you sort of coordinate? And how did you understand what was going on? How did you remain organized during this time?
Yes, definitely. A phone call was working, but in a very poor network system. Network system was very poor and very slow down. So since we are Gen Z, so we created some SMS group chat, and in the IP address, we could create some alternative way. In IP address, if there is no internet, we can create some group chats as well. So we created this communication system, and also phone call was working.
Oh.
So we are just calling anyone, calling everyone, calling everyone. We just sending some bulk SMS, like in my area. Like, see, I can, I live in Mirpur, right? So I can give the Mirpur area update every hour. So if anyone is another living in the another part of Dhaka city, he's giving that update every day, like through the SMS. We are just spreading out the messages, but we were just spreading the message. We didn't have to do anything actually.
Hmm.
So
Interesting. And
That was the real scenario.
so while this violence was going on and the internet was shut down, again, I remember when the internet shut down, that was the first time that I found out, okay, something is happening in Bangladesh. We've heard about an
Mhm,
authoritarian government. I'm not
mhm,
sure if this is going to sustain, but
mm.
clearly this has gotten way out of hands, right? And so from that moment till the time that the actual government is taken over, how did it escalate? Like, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to deconstruct what were the variables that led to, because you guys are, at the end of the day, you are students, you cannot fight against bullets, right? I mean, what's the maximum you can do? You can keep on going every day outside protesting, get killed, come back, then go back, right? So theoretically it's impossible to fight against power. How did you organize enough while remaining peaceful? So this is another question. Were there now counter strikes from the protesters as well, where they were beginning to attack the government institutions? Because your people were dying, and so I would understand if there were now counter attacks as well. So what was the situation at that point in time?
Okay. First of all, some violations created, like destroying the metro rail station. It was a blame for the from the Awami League, from the Sheikh Hasina. Look, BNP Jamaat doing again terrorist attack in Bangladesh. They don't want the development. They are the enemy forever. They are destroying the metro station, metro rail station. They are just using the student movement as a banner. Deep inside, they are doing this all conspiracy and each and everything. It was their narratives, Awami League narratives. But I have a point. In our metro station, there is a special police force which called MRT police, mass rapid transit police, from the very beginning of the metro rail infrastructure. In our country, people are not used to metro rail. They might do harm, or they are not enough concerned to use the metro rail and everything. So police, 200, yes, around 200 police MRT, and they all have carried the shotgun, and they are permitted to shoot anyone if anyone try to do the metro rail uh, infrastructure harm, anyone trying to do any harm towards the metro rail infrastructure. So it was meant for the MRT police. My question is, police can shoot on the general student during the protest, but they can't resist the metro rail attack with their shotgun.
Hmm.
Some people just went through and destroyed the metro rail.
Hmm.
So who knows? It was just a narrative from the Awami regime.
Hmm.
Okay, let's destroy the metro rail. Then what happened? Okay, fine. It's another BNP terrorist attack. A student will shut down and go back to home. Oh my God, BNP is starting terrorist attack again in our
So the
country.
students remained peaceful throughout this time when they were protesting. They remained completely
Actually,
peaceful.
I must say one thing. I must say one thing, which is very important point. Students were never doing any destroyful activities. The destroy of metro rail station or this kind of violenceful activities, that might be the narrative from the Army League, or maybe BNP or another political party just took the opportunity, nothing else.
Right.
That can happen.
Interesting. So this was what day are we in? Are we in August now? Where the sort of you mentioned the metro rail being destroyed and attacks happening. How many days
Mm,
since the violence
almost
started?
more, since the violence started from there. So during the 7 days, and during the 7 days internet shutdown, army has been deployed and curfew has been started.
Okay.
Since Awami League was absolutely failed to control everyone through their domestic Bangladesh Student League and every other domestic, what else I can say, domestic
Structure.
techniques,
Right.
uh, domestic structure. They deployed army and they started curfew.
And this was
Okay, no.
This was a nationwide curfew.
Yes, nationwide curfew, and army deployment. So people will, in Bangladesh, army has a different level of respect and different level of, okay, people, okay, fine, we'll never go out of the home because army is there.
Okay.
And our question was, okay, fine, let's continue the country. How many days you will continue the country with curfew and army deployment? We will see.
Hmm.
Whenever you will remove the deployment, we will go to the street again.
Hmm.
So after 7 to 8 days, internet went back, and some people deposited some video footage during the internet shutdown. They just took those videos footage in their phone, in their everyone, and they were waiting for the internet come back, and they will post those on social media. So we everyone thought, okay, internet will come back, everything will be okay then. But we are frustrated on the same time. With this same Bangladesh Student League, we have to go to our university campus. Within the same Awami League regime, we have to survive. Oh my God, this is frustrating. They're just killing us, and they're just killing us very brutally, and we have to sustain. We have to obey this government again. That was our frustration point. But when the internet came back, everything was not that much. Again, like came back the internet and protest started again. Not like that,
Hmm.
but army deployment was in the road. Army deployment was in the nationwide. Curfew was some flexible curfew, but army deployment was in there, so that no violence or no one could went through the street or something like that. So everything was naturally ongoing in our country, but school and all the educational institutions were closed, remain that.
Okay. So then, how did that? So you're saying essentially everything became normal. The government was
Not
able to
not
control,
actually normal, not
but they
actually
were able to
normal.
control the protests, right?
A little bit, but they were like very very strong. Oh my God, don't let them go back to the street again.
But people still went, irrespective whether the army was there or not. They didn't care. Or did something happen that brought people back to the streets?
Yes. Let me. Yeah, there were some coordinator in Bangla. They call Shaman. There were some coordinator of this movement. Interesting part is actually this movement had no specific leader. This movement itself was a leader. Why I'm telling that? Because in the previous time, every movement started in Bangladesh. Awami League did a peaceful agreement of the specific leader of the movement, and the movement stopped. This happened every time. So in this movement, coordinator was just the announcer, or coordinator was just the, what else I can say, just the controller, but the movement itself was a leader. And now your question is, what created that we came back to the
So this is
street
very
again?
interesting because because of the lack of leadership, the government
Mm,
could not essentially pick up a leader, put them in jail,
exactly.
have a basically
Exactly.
negotiate with them and make them do like a press conference and say we need to stop the protests. They were just
Exactly.
happening irrespective, no matter what you did.
Exactly. And the student coordinator, they were invited by the Sheikh Hasina, and Sheikh Hasina said, okay, I'm open for the discussion.
Hmm.
I'm open after coming back through the internet channel. I'm open from the discussion. Please come to my house. I will discuss with you. And we are saying, okay, after killing so many people, now you're open for the discussion. This doesn't make any sense actually.
Hmm.
And the coordinator was like threatened, if you go with the discussion with Sheikh Hasina, we will kill you, because you can't betray with us. Our brothers have died, we can't betray with their blood. No
Hmm.
discussion period has been over. When you kill thousands of people, when you kill thousands of people brutally without any humanity, discussion period has been over. No discussion.
Hmm.
Now we created 9 point demands. 9 point demands means there were 9 points. Like we have to. The first point was Sheikh Hasina has to be resigned. First point was Sheikh Hasina has to be resigned. Obaidul Kader, the general secretary, has to be resigned. All the murder and killing happened during last 7 to 10 days. We have to identify. We need the justice to these murders. Although it was a clownery, Awami League did the murder, and we are demanding justice to them for doing the murder. But our first point was Sheikh Hasina has to be resigned.
Right.
And when this 9 point demand started again, you know what Sheikh Hasina started to do? Police started to raid every house and knocking. Is there any student? Is there any student? And if they find any student, they were arresting the student randomly. And within 5 to 7 days, almost thousands of people, thousands of students were in the jail. Even
Hmm.
you will be, you will be like surprised. Our HSC exam, I mean higher secondary school certificate exam, was ongoing during that time. Some HSC examiners who are almost below 18, they were in the jail with the police as well. Why? Because they have some protest pictures in their phone. In every check post, not army was not doing there, basically police was doing there. In every check post, police was waiting and, let me check your phone, is there any pictures of the protest? Okay, seize the phone, arrest him.
Hmm.
That was the rule.
Interesting.
And with the Gen Z, we said, "Oh my God, we have a privacy. Our parents hasn't checked my phone any day, and you, the who the
Random
hell is a
policeman.
police who are checking my phone? I
Yeah.
have my privacy." We are very concerned regarding the privacy. So this was happening day by day, and our six coordinators, they were. mm in the DB office. DB means detective branch, which was another technique of Awami League regime. Actually, Awami League used each and every weapons to hold their power. Every system they corrupted, they created the corruption. Every system they used to hold the power. Started from the police, sometimes army as well. You were saying army chief was Hasina's close man during 2014, 2018. If you went through the We All Are Prime Minister's Men documentary created by Al Jazeera, you will find everything, how army helped Hasina to hold her power. So anyways, so during that time we started the protest again. And from the 9 point movement, 9 point, Sheikh Hasina was very confident. He said, Sheikh Hasina never removed from the country. I'll never leave the country. I am Sheikh Hasina. I'll never leave the country. I'll never resign. Why I have to resign? I never meant you to Razaker. She was that much confident during that time. And every press briefing, every day, we are opening the TV, we are watching the TV, and we got mad by seeing Hasina. So, anyways, after everything, we created the 9 point demand, our 9 point movement. Sheikh Hasina has to be resigned, Waidul Qadir has to be resigned, etc., etc. And still, it was around 13th of July or end of July, regarding that, in that time, some students were killed as well by the shot of police, by the gun of police, and some heart-touching video. One injured people fired by police. He's uh, trying to be safe, but police is still firing. One small boy, he tried to be safe at the sunset of a building. Police firing on him from the roof. This kind of heart-touching video we watched on social media, and we were clear that this is what happening in our country. We live in an independent country, and our government is firing on us by that gun which was bought by my tax. And this is the country, this is Bangladesh, and we know, okay, we have to go back to street again and again. And after that, when our parents are saying, "Oh my God, I never attack my child for a single reason," and police is attacking on them, our university professors, our teachers, we were very pissed off by to our teachers as well. Why you are not saying anything, since we are attacking, we are dying, why you are not speaking up, why you are not raising your voice? Then our teachers came to the streets, our cultural sectors people came to the streets, and they all came to the streets and say, okay, now we need to speak. And it was 3rd of July. 3rd of July, yes, it was 3rd of July. There is a place in our Dhaka city which is Shohid Minar, and which is meant to be in the 1952 language movement. So in that Shohid Minar, every classes of people, every single of people went there for a revolution, and almost more than 1 lakh people was there. And from that place, we announced 1 point movement. Sheikh Hasina need to be resigned. Uh, it
Interesting.
was around it was around 3rd July. And 4th July, 4th July, yes, 4th July was but so many violations were creating, that is like every police stations were being fired, and they're burned by the violent people, and the country was not stable. Army deployment and curfew was ongoing, but still, army was not shooting anyone. For your kind information, army was just observing the situation. They were just trying to control, but they were not shoot anyone. They have the feelings. This is my country. This people is my people. The arm I am holding, this has been bought by these people's finance. I don't need to shoot them. But unfortunately, police hadn't the feelings. Police
Mm.
just shoot it.
Interesting.
Anyways, after everything, so it was almost 5th of July, 4th of July, there was a plan that we will do long march towards Dhaka from each and everywhere from the country. It was supposed to held on 6th of August. I'm sorry, it's not July, it's August, 6th of August. But on 4th of August, the coordinator changed their decision and they decided to do the long march towards Dhaka on 5th of August. And the whole night we were waiting. In my friend list there were so many army friends. I was knocking one by one, single of them. So we are going to long march tomorrow, are you guys going to shoot on me? The army officers will say, no, you guys are my own country people. I will leave my job, I will leave my rank if I have to shoot you. So all the young officers, the lieutenant, the major, the captain, uh, also the soldiers, they are not, no, these people are my brother, my friends. Why I have to shoot them? But the upper hierarchy of army, they were little bit Awami League supporter. Some of them, not everyone. But the lower hierarchy of army, they were not absolutely agreed to shoot on the country's people. And finally, I must say my own story on 5th of August. I woke up in the morning around 10 a.m. I was getting ready to go for the long march. And I just watched, oh my God, 11th, it was almost 11 a.m. And I was get ready to come outside. And I just noticed internet again shut it down. I was just got mad. Oh my God, today 10,000 people will be killed again. But what else I can do? What else I can do actually? Then it was around 12 p.m. We can see a news. Uh, Around 2 p.m., the army general will give a speech towards the nation. Till then, keep patience, everyone. I was like, okay, army general will say, okay, enough, it's enough. Now go back to home. After all, army general is Hasina's relative. So it was around 2 p.m. and we just heard Hasina has been removed from Bangladesh. And we went through the street, we were crying, and we just felt not a single person were unhappy during 5th August. I entered into the Ganobhavan. Ganobhavan means Hasina's residence, and people, millions of people entered into there. They just snatched everything: Hasina's shari, Hasina's furniture, Hasina's duck, Hasina's chicken, everything. But I didn't took anything because uh, I felt I get back my country. I don't need anything from Ganobhavan. So I went there, and that was our victory day. And I felt that so many blood and so many blood has been shedded to get this victory, and they will never come back. They will never come back to this world. But we got the victory by their from this fascist government by their sacrifice. Definitely, the old the small child, they were never ever come back to us. But we got the we got the we got the victory.
It's
Sorry,
been
I'm
no, no. I
very very
understand.
emotional.
I do understand. It's been 2-3 months since that happened, right? Do you think the country is now going in the right direction? Do you think the victory that you got on the 5th of August, do you think that was worth it? Or because we're hearing a lot about instability as well, about whether there is a proper system or not. What are the feelings now, a few months after the transition?
Hmm. Okay, let me explain you one thing. Like, say for example, I'm traveling to Karachi, and for a tour purpose, I
Mm.
was supposed to there by almost 6 p.m. 6 p.m. But by any chance or for any reason, I was there around 3 a.m. in the night. So I'm very hungry. I need to eat something. But since it's 3 a.m., there is no standard food anywhere. There's some bread or banana. On that specific time, I'll never judge whether this bread or banana is important or is it worth it for me. The main point will be I am hungry, I have to remove my hunger. Interim government, the government is conducting our country. Interim government is just the emergency situation government to stabilize the whole system. Actually, this government, we don't need to judge this government whether they're good or they're bad. They are just the situation demand.
Hmm.
But so far, I can say in last 16 years, Aumili created its own regime. They destroyed every single system of the country. They used police, they used RAB, they used every bureaucratic sector of a country to destroy entities just to get hold their power. Corruption was everywhere. The I was mega project, metro rail, Padma Bridge, every corruption, they just so this is a devastating country. So Dr. Yunus, when came through his advisory board to the government, it's difficult for them to control everything in one night. But they are trying their level best.
Hmm.
Still, we must say everything is not good because there when there is no stable government in my country, there is no investment, and when there is no investment, the economic is not good. But still, we can say Hasina created this term, who is the alternative. He says, see, without you, we can create the alternative and country is going on. And after all, whatever you did with our country's people, you got the punishment. That's all.
Hmm.
Like from my side, I can say I'm just a simple student, 22 years old.
Hmm.
I can't explain so many things because national things are very different, very bigger. But from my end, from the Mango people, and I must say, okay, we are doing great.
Hmm.
And there are some violations, when uh, just say for example, all the police stations were burned by the Mango people after 5th August. Why? what did police what did police do actually during last 15 or 20 days? What they did with us? So every action has its opposite reaction. We have to think that
Hmm.
this is not just a like,
So
okay, fine, he
so
killed
basically,
me.
till the time that they had the power, they exerted it. But the minute the power went away, the minute the top man left, basically people went out, and then people just burnt anything that they could see where power
Exactly.
had been exerted.
From their grudge. I was explaining the Jamaat story. Like one Jamaat leader or Jamaat political party supporter is sleeping on the bed in the night. Just police came to knock at the door. Okay, you have to go with me to the police station. Go to the police station. Okay, you are terrorist. You are doing terrorist attack plan for tomorrow Victory Day. You are just a innocent guy, do know nothing, go through the jail just because he support Jamaat.
Hmm.
So, do you think these people, when he realized, oh my God, from this police station, this police came on that night and harassed me, they will not get the revenge? If Hasina can get the revenge on Bangladeshi people during since 16 years for murdering her dad, so it's very normal to to do the revenge towards the police as well, whatever they did. If I minus the 15-year story, police whatever did since last 20 days with students and with the Mango people in the country, they deserve that. I might sound very, very rough and very illegal, but this is the truth. This is human
Hmm.
being, this is not angel.
Right. Tell me about the government, and obviously because Awami League had its was rooted in the entire system, right? So you let
Hmm.
Hasina go, but essentially what you'd call her agents or people who would drive power through her were in the entire system, all the way down to the peripheries till the Awami Student League in universities, right? So ever since this transition, has there been a purge to get rid of whatever support base that she had? Because otherwise, what you're going to do is you have a narrative, you're all consolidated, but give it enough time, and obviously a power that has been consolidated over 15 years can very easily come back. And we're now beginning to see, India talking about, how this entire Bangladeshi thing is problematic. There's a narrative that this was American backed, and so now the counter attack has started as well. and using legal means, using a lot of international media as well. So what are your plans in terms of, as a you guys are at the end of the day just students, right? This is way above what you had imagined. So what's happening in terms of structurally making sure that there is freedom and justice within Bangladesh once the interim government has passed?
Okay, my straightcut answer for this question is, in last 50 years after the liberation war, more than 50 years, Bangladesh has been never witnessed a free, fair election. I must say, we need to create a free, fair election commission so that, what the hell is Awami League? If Awami League's debt came back, they can't pollute or they can't create corruption through the election commission. When a politician or a political leader have the headache, after 5 years, I have to go to the voter's door and beg for vote, they will not do any mistakes. And if they don't have the headache, okay, vote is nothing important to get the power. They will do everything. So whatever, I think there are thousands of issues in Bangladesh to work. We the Bangladeshi people, all of us are not same. We are not two good people. We are not abiding by our law. We are not abiding by our law every day. We are taking the opportunities every day to to grab my own agenda as well. But whatever I need right now, this moment, every year, every 5 years, we need 100% free and fair election, which will be created, or which will be executed by a non-biased fair election commission. If people think they will vote Awami League, I repeat, if people think they will vote Awami League, they will vote Awami League. If people think they will vote BNP, they will vote BNP. If people think they will vote Jamaat, they will vote Jamaat. But election should be free, fair, and 100% fair, I must say.
How do you ensure that an alternate side doesn't take over, like the military doesn't take over, or let's say Khalida Zia does not come back, and now you went from one essentially dictator to another, right?
Okay, yes, it's a very good question. Look, hats off to Bangladesh Army. I'm not sure each this episode will watched by any army officer in our country. Hats off to them. If I'm not sure whether you know the story of 5th August in Gana Bhavan, the Army General Wakaruzzaman, he was sort of relative of Sheikh Hasina, and Sheikh Hasina threatened him. I provided you this position. Now you are betraying with me. The Wakaruzaman, I think if I ever can meet him, I will ask him a question. Sir, there are very few people in this world get this opportunity. On 5th August, you had two options. Either you will be the villain in the history, or you will be the hero in the history. You choose the second option. You're the hero in the history. If army didn't play the exact role on 5th August, Sheikh Hasina, if 10 lakhs people, I repeat, if 1 million people died in Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina doesn't care. She never resigned. The army played his role on 5th August perfectly. That's why it happened. Whatever we can say, we can die. We can die. What else we can do more than dying to remove Hasina? But the army was the last hope, the last option for us. Army was the last hope and last option for us, because army army had the Bangladeshi people were pissed off by the army as well. So what the army is doing?
Do you think
Why not?
if the army had doubled down and started attacking you guys, do you think your movement would have turned violent?
Pardon? Could you please repeat this
So, for
question?
example, if you've mentioned a very interesting dilemma, right? On the 5th of
Mhm.
August, the
Mm.
the army chief had a very clear um, two options. Either he would have turned into a villain and fired on his own people, or he refused the orders, which he eventually did. Assuming that he had taken the other option, do you think the people would have dispersed and gone back home, or do you think then potentially today you would be seeing an armed insurgency in Bangladesh?
Then situation will be more massacre. There will be a domestic war in our country. Situation will be more massacre. More people will be dying. Maybe victory will come in late, but more people will dying. Army will be destroyed as well. There will be, as I said, the
So
junior rank
essentially, the
officer.
entire institution structures, you just destroy everything for the sake of the for one person's power.
Like then when domestic war will be created, there can be happen anything.
Hmm.
When people see, oh my god, army is killing us, maybe they will shut down. Maybe I can say maybe they will shut down. But after 6 months or 5 months, or on the next election, what will be happening? That's my point.
You
So
think
one.
you think young people, and this is going to be my last question on revolution, and we're going to wrap it up as
Yes,
well.
go on.
Do you think so? This is a very interesting point that you've mentioned. Do you think authority can you use authority to control the youth of today? Can you use the gun? Can you use force to change their mind?
Look, you are discussing like police are firing on you. What else you have?
Hmm.
So if I see, okay, my own people, my own army, my own police killing me, firing me, then definitely something will be happening. Definitely I will train with arm as well before I have to fight with arm against the arm. Maybe
Hmm.
that can be happen because situation can create everything. Who knew? Who can assume like a generation Z
Hmm.
who is absolutely fan of Hasina, they will be starting to hate Hasina within 20 days. So everything is possible.
Interesting. Mamun, I'm going to wrap this up. We're at the 1 hour, 28-minute mark. I wanted to talk to you about a lot of things that I would absolutely love once this episode goes out tomorrow. If a lot of people like it, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to have you back on the show to talk about the
Definitely.
follow up of all of this. And we have to talk about Pakistan, Bangladesh as well. We have to talk about Bangladesh, India as well. This has been incredibly insightful. And I'm surprised. I mean, I'm 34 years old. I've lived most of my life in Pakistan. It's interesting. I've never interacted or have heard, of a like from a Bangladeshi person before. People who were our brothers, just 50 years ago. So I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation, and I hope that we can have a whole lot more, in the coming days.
All right. Thank you so much for having me here again.
Awesome. And for all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Uh, ये जो कॉन्वर्जेशन थी ना, बड़ी इमोशनल भी थी दरमियान में, बट मेरे लिए बड़ी पावरफुल थी, क्योंकि अगर आप पाकिस्तान में इसको देख रहे हैं तो मैं पाकिस्तान के बारे में कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं बोलना चाहूँगा, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीज़ें जब आप इसके बारे में सुन रहे होंगे तो आपको नॉस्टैल्जिया कह लें उसको, या आपको रिलेटेबल लग रहा होगा। और अगर वो रिलेटेबल लग रहा है तो ये बड़े सोचने वाली बात है। क्या वजह है कि पाकिस्तान में हम शायद इसी स्टोरी की किसी टाइमलाइन की किसी जगह पे खड़े हुए हैं? इसके बारे में डेफिनेटली लोगों को सोचना चाहिए, बहुत सीरियसली सोचना चाहिए। ज़ाहिर है हम इससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बोल सकते, बट अगर आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आई हो तो अपने दोस्तों के साथ ज़रूर शेयर करिएगा। नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन में मुझे आके बताइएगा व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स ऑन व्हाट हैज़ हैपेंड इन बांग्लादेश। हाउ डू यू थिंक this is going to go forward now that the government has fallen and a new government has come in? Are you following what's happening in Bangladesh, and what's your understanding? But nonetheless, this was Zamil Hassan Zedi. You were watching Thought Behind Things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.